All right, let's dive into something that so many of us go through, but almost no one really has a solid game plan for: cutting someone out of your life. And I'm not just talking about blocking a number. This is a whole psychological process that really needs a clear strategy, both for the practical stuff and for your own emotional healing. So let's break down how it actually works.
This quote right here, it absolutely nails it. See, this isn't about some simple click of a button. We're talking about a full-on emotional and mental separation. It's like untangling a really messy knot of your thoughts, your daily habits, and even your vision for the future from someone else.
So, where in the world do you even start with something this big? Well, it all begins with the foundation. And that foundation is making a totally clear, 100% unshakable decision. This is, without a doubt, the most important part, because everything else you do depends on how solid you are right here, right now.
You know, the biggest thing that's going to get in your way is ambivalence. That feeling of being torn, the second guessing, all those lingering what ifs, that is the enemy of your healing. Being wishy-washy or unsure is what keeps you stuck in that painful loop. The healing can't even begin until the confusion stops.
And this brings us to a really important rule: the no half exit rule. This is all about committing to your decision, sending mixed signals, trying to do the whole let's just be friends thing with someone who really hurt you, or, secretly checking their social media. All of that is just keeping one foot in the door. It completely undermines your choice, and it tells your brain, hey, this isn't really over. So, once your decision is rock solid, it's time to actually do something about it. It's time for execution, and the single most powerful psychological tool you have for a clean break is what we call the zero contact rule. And let's be super clear here. Zero means zero. It's not just about you not calling or texting them. It's a full commitment to not responding, not engaging, not even looking from a distance. The whole point is to create a complete and total information blackout. And here's why that commitment is so non-negotiable. Look, you've got two paths. Partial contact might feel a little nicer or easier in the moment, but trust me, it just leads to prolonged pain. It's like you have a wound and you just keep picking at it, never letting it actually heal. Zero contact, on the other hand, yeah, it's tougher at first, but it's the only path that leads to fast, clean healing. Putting zero contact into action also means you've got to do a practical cleanup. This isn't about trying to erase your past. It's about getting rid of all those little daily memory triggers that can suck you right back into that emotional spiral. Deleting the number, the chats, the photos, every single one of those actions reinforces your decision and clears out so much mental space. Okay, so you've made the call and you've executed the plan. Now what? Well, the next phase is all about playing defense. You have to actively guard that peace you've just started to build, and that means managing both the outside world and your own inner monologue. Now this is a huge mindset shift. So many people get stuck because they're waiting for closure. They want an apology or some big explanation, but listen, you don't owe a long explanation to someone who disrespected you, and you definitely don't need their permission to move on. Real closure is something you give to yourself. And this is the big one, isn't it? The practical, kind of awkward question. Dealing with mutual friends can be one of the trickiest parts of this whole thing. You don't want to create a bunch of drama, but you also can't let your friends become accidental messengers. The secret here is to have a few simple, direct scripts ready to go. These are your best friends in those situations. The key is to keep your tone totally neutral and non-emotional. You're not complaining or venting, you're just stating a fact and making a polite but very firm request. This shuts down that whole indirect communication channel without ever putting your friends in an awkward spot. Okay, let's get to the final and honestly the most empowering stage of this entire journey. This is where the real win happens. It's all about the internal work of healing and truly, finally reclaiming your freedom. And that freedom comes from detachment. So we need to talk about something called the emotional vacuum. When you remove a really important person from your life, they leave this void, this space. And your brain, which has built all these strong connections around that person, absolutely hates that empty space. It will try to pull you back to what's familiar, even if what's familiar is painful. So how do you fight that pull? With action. You have to consciously and actively fill that vacuum by building new habits, new pathways in your brain. This isn't just about distracting yourself. It's about replacing that emotional dependency with a strong focus on yourself.
Every single one of these activities builds you up and starts rewiring your brain to find happiness from within. It's gonna happen. It's almost inevitable. Our brains have this weird tendency to forget the pain and only remember the good times, which is so dangerous when you're trying to heal. So how do you fight back against your own memory when it's trying to trick you?
You fight memory with cold, hard facts. You need to create what I call a list of truths. Physically write down the real, specific reasons you left. Not just vague feelings, but the actual events, the disrespect, the manipulation, the anxiety you felt. This list becomes your anchor to reality whenever that storm of nostalgia tries to pull you back in.
This all leads us to the ultimate mindset shift. You know, wanting revenge or hoping they finally realize what they lost. It might feel powerful for a second, but it's still a form of attachment. You're still emotionally tied to them and their reaction. The true win, the real power, is detachment.
And what does that winning state actually feel like? It's not loud, it's not dramatic, it's peace. It's the silence in your head where all that anxiety used to be. It's genuinely moving on. And honestly, it's just not caring anymore. That is what freedom feels like. So we'll end with this question, looking forward. By going through this process, you haven't just gotten rid of something negative, you've created a clean slate. You've cleared out a space for something new. The focus is no longer on them, it's all on you. The real question is, what amazing thing are you going to build for yourself now?